Hello all. So this week we have part 2 starting. How to embrace your inner badass. And the chapter that the title gives me hesitation of wanting to continue this book. Love the one you is. So that is what we're going to do this week. So this week I am being proactive and I figured I better do this today. I'm just getting distracted. I just noticed I'm like getting these like weird wrinkles. Anyways, that's what happens when you get old. Look at yourself on a video and see that you have weird wrinkles. But I figured I'd get this done today because I'm going on my second night shift. So I have a pattern where I'll wake up a bit earlier after my first night shift, and after my second night shift I'll be probably sleeping all day tomorrow and I won't do anything, and then I'll have to go back to work for my last night shift, and the video will never be put up. So I figured I'd be proactive, do it today when I have a few minutes before I get ready to go to work, and yeah, and then I won't be behind the ball like I was last week. So I'm gonna have my coffee. Just waking up, so my brain is probably still sleeping. But this week is all about loving who you are, and some of the things they talk about in this chapter is how we are born knowing to trust our instincts. So if you watch a toddler do things that he's never been taught to do before, chances are he'll figure out how to do it the right way, and he just trusts, or she just trusts, you know, how they're doing it. Like, you know, think of a baby learning, like a toddler learning how to walk. Like, you know, a lot of parents might teach them, but regardless, if you don't teach them anything, they're gonna figure that out, or how to crawl, or how to roll. Like, you know, nobody teaches these kids these things. They just trust their instincts and just go for it. And you know, there's gonna be a lot of bumps and falls, not before they get the hang of it, but eventually they get the hang of it. I was talking about how as we grow, that's when we start learning things like fear, shame, negative false beliefs about ourselves, self-doubt. But we're never born with that stuff. It's stuff we pick up along the way through our experiences and interactions with other people, that we pick up all these negative ideas. And it says, one thing it says is, when you are born, you have enough in your, you know, bank account to fund any dream that you want. So you have enough in your self-believing, positive, love yourself account when you're born to fund any dream that you want. When you're little, you know, you have no preconceptions, no roadblocks. If you want to do something, you have absolutely every tool available to you to be able to do that. So it goes on to say, but we invest in others' beliefs. You know, things like when somebody tells you you're too old to go to the club, even though the only thing you love to do is dance your crazy butt off, or, you know, you're, you know, putting on like that tough front because, you know, people tell you that it's you know, not proper to be that person who craves that love and connection with other people. I just had to blow my nose. It's like, it's minus 38 today, degrees centigrade. And with the wind chill, it feels like minus 47 degrees centigrade. And yeah, it's not a nice, not a nice feeling. So my nose gets all stuffed up when it gets this cold and dry outside. It's just horrible. I always ask myself, why do I live someplace so cold? And each year it just seems so much worse. The older I get, the worse it feels. Anyways, it goes on to say that if we start investing in ourselves, that's when we'll start living that rich, full life. And when we invest in thinking we are not good enough, we learn how to unlove ourselves. So the more you feed into those negative beliefs about yourselves, which with every little negative bit that you look at yourself with is just that little bit that you don't love yourself, and you get to a place where you're giving out more external love than you are love for yourself. And it goes on about appreciating how special you are. And I think it is a lot easier to pick out our flaws and than it is to actually sit there and pick out all the wonderful things about yourself. Like if somebody asks you what's wrong with you, you could probably come up with like 10 things off the top of your head right now. I know I could. But if somebody asked you what is the best things about yourself, that's actually one question I hate in job interviews. Like when they ask you, what are like 3 good things about yourself or whatever. And I always like have a tough time picking those out. And then I realized that it wasn't things that I thought were awesome about me. I was always looking for things that I thought other people would think were awesome about me. And I think that was a big mental game changer, was changing that perspective of thinking of what I think and what I like about myself as opposed to what I think other people would like about myself, I guess. And then like it starts talking about ways that you can start improving that. So drown yourself in affirmations. What do you need to hear right now? So what positivity do you need to hear right now? Which aspect of your life do you need to find that positivity? Like if you had somebody, anybody, somebody you admire, somebody you have a crush on or whatever, if they were speaking to you, what would you want to hear from them? And instead of waiting for other people to give that to you, give that to yourself. And it could be anything like, I love how tall I am. I love the size of my ass. I am bright, brilliant, and beautiful. Or stuff like, I am one with the universe and the universe is awesome. So am I. Anything positive, whatever it is that you need to hear. And then the third part of this is do things you love. I have no problem with that. I always have done things I love. So, I have my profession, but then I also have things I'm passionate about that I do simply for the fact that I love doing them. My art is one of them. Writing is another one. My reading, traveling, and there was like probably a point in my life where I didn't do any of that stuff because I was so focused on doing what I should be doing, and doing things that were going to make me money because I'm a single mother of a lot of children and I needed to be there. So it really took away from my life, I felt. I came to a point one day where I realized that there was nothing in my life, besides the children, that I loved doing. And it was just, I was just doing things because I felt I needed to do them. And I was really surprised, the big difference that it made mentally in my life when I started doing the things that I loved, that I wanted to do. It really opened up my perspective and gave me like an overall view of my life and really what I was missing out on in my life. Yeah, so then probably from that point on, I really made an effort to make the time to do stuff that I love. If I want to paint a painting, I'm going to make time to paint that painting. It might take me longer than I'd like it to, but it will get done eventually. And, travel was a big one. Like, I always wanted to travel, and it was always one of those things that I would put off. And then, finally I was like, screw it, I'm doing it. And, stuff like that is always stuff you'll never regret doing. Even if you fail horribly, it doesn't go the way you want, you'll never regret it. You'll regret not doing it more than anything. So yeah, that was like, doing things you love, figuring out what you love. There's like so many things that, I tried, just like half-heartedly, not even realizing that, maybe this is something I'm gonna like doing. And it's just funny how sometimes things you don't even think of end up being the things that you love. So I always try to keep an open mind and try new experiences, new things, new foods, whatever, because you never know what you're gonna like until you actually try it. So I like that chapter. Do the things you love, and find positive replacements for the negative. So if you have anything that you're negative about, trying to find something positive about it. I try to do this too when I'm feeling really really negative. I'll make a list, because that's what helps me with my anxiety. I make a list of everything that's bothering me, everything I feel negative about, and I'll go through that list, and I will look at the things that I have the ability to change, and then the other part that I can't change, then I try to let go. And part of that letting go process is replacing the negative part of that with something positive. So what can I take that is positive from this thing that's bothering me? And it sounds silly, it sounds simple, but for me, honestly, just the act of writing it all out and thinking it through really does help me a lot. It doesn't work all the time. There's sometimes it's harder to let other things go than other things, but I think it's like a process. The more you do it, the easier it gets, I guess. Get rid of self-deprecating humor. I'm horrible for this. There's like a fine line between laughing at yourself and self-deprecation to, make other people feel better, or, stuff like that. I have no problems laughing at myself. Sometimes I do silly things or whatever. I have no problems laughing at myself, or if a situation doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to. I have a pretty good sense of humor. I can see the humor in a lot of things. But when you put yourself in that position where your humor is a way of coping, and it's making yourself seem smaller so that other people will feel bigger, I guess. That's the way I see it anyways. So trying to be aware of when you're doing that, and to stop let the love in and accept that compliment. So that's why I find a lot of times when the self-deprecating humor comes out is when people compliment us, or me at least. I'm horrible at taking compliments. I always feel awkward, and I hate attention, like, and positive attention. It really bothers me. So it's like when somebody tells me that, you know, my drawing is so good or whatever, my first instinct is to go through and pick out all the like the mistakes or things that I see in it that I'm not happy with. Or, you know, if somebody tells me you've done a good job, I'm very quick to go to that place, and that is definitely something I need to work on. It bothers me to have attention on myself. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I need to figure that part out. And it says, don't compare yourself to others. You are you. I think that's a good thing. I don't really have an issue with comparing myself to others. Yeah, because there's no point, you know, people have other abilities than me, and yeah, no matter what I do, I can never be that person. I can only be me and do the best that I can do. So the next part is forgiving yourself. This one is actually one that's harder for me too. Again, with my anxiety, with my anxiety, when I'm in the midst of having anxiety attacks, I get very, what's the word, like grouchy, irritable, and I know, like, I can feel myself when I'm like that, and I try to distance myself from people, and I always feel bad for the people who have to be around me when I am like that. And it took a long time for me to you know, just learn how to voice that, and I'm still horrible at it sometimes. It's so much easier for me just to distance myself from people and be by myself, but in those situations where I can't, like, I've learned that if I just voice myself and tell people that I am, like, my anxiety is really bad, I can't do this right now, we need to come back and do it another time because, you know, I'm an asshole right now, basically. So I found that has gone a long way. And also you know, taking responsibility for that and how I make other people feel in that situation. I feel, you know, like the more I deal with this, the easier it is for me to not be an asshole to other people. But I can think of a lot of times where I was a complete ass to people, and I feel that acceptance of that and acknowledgement to other people of how you made them feel is a huge thing, not only for yourself but for that person. Like, just having that acknowledgement does go a long way. And the whole, like, you know, they always say when people have done you wrong, you forgive them for you, not for them. It's kind of along that line, like, you know, just having that acknowledgement that something wrong was done to you, I think goes a long way. So I have been trying to be especially mindful for that. If I know that I've been, you know, not the best person that I could be, I like to acknowledge that and let them know that they don't deserve that, because nobody deserves to be around somebody who's an asshole. So the way that this ends is just simply love yourself. So just love every aspect of yourself. And again, with the anxiety, like, there's so many aspects that are so hard to love, and I need to like probably embrace that side a little bit more. There's so many things that in other aspects of my life where I have no problem loving myself, but the anxiety, it's a love-hate. It's constantly back and forth. I get angry with it. I get upset. But it's a process. And again, I just need to keep reminding myself that honestly, I'm so much further than I was 10 years ago. Even though some days it feels like I'm not. Some days it's harder than others. So, but it's a process. We'll get there eventually. So that was the end of chapter 6. Chapter 7 will be, I know you are, but what am I? That is a good question. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week. If you are someplace cold like me, stay warm. And spring is on the way. That's what I keep telling myself. Spring is on the way. 6 more weeks of this. Spring is on the way. That, and I need to move someplace warmer. So, but I hope you guys have a good week and have a wonderful day. Till later. Bye.